Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. We are in front of the football stadium of the HSV, the team of my hometown, which is Hamburg in Germany. And I am very excited to show you this special game. As you may have seen already if you follow me along my adventures, I showed you a couple of football places already. The last time I was in Argentina and I showed you a game of one of the biggest teams in Argentina, which was super exciting but also very surprising. And now I'm going to show you probably one of the most important games of the football league here in Germany, because it is actually a game full of rivalry and it is a very important derby here in the north of Germany. Because Hamburg has two teams, that is the HSV and St Pauli. Two very important teams with a very large history. This is a very important game actually for both teams, because both teams so far have chances to get into the first division of Germany. Although St Pauli does have a little bit higher chances currently as the HSV. Anyway, it is one of the last games of the seasons, there aren't that many left. And both clubs have a long history of rivalry. That is not only because they are both in one city, but also because there's a long history behind it. St Pauli is known as a club that is more like a smaller neighborhood club. They have fans with an anti-system mindset, and also they are clearly against discrimination and so on. And the HSV actually had a history, especially in the 70s and 80s, where the Ultra fans were kind of from the neo-Nazi section, so that was like the first era when the two clubs had a huge rivalry. And then also besides that, while the St Pauli always used to be the club that actually supported its own talent, the club that didn't have that much money, the HSV was known for having a huge sponsor and therefore also more money, for example. It is very rare that these two teams actually play against each other, because for a very long time the HSV was actually in the first division. Actually, the HSV was the team that spent most years in the first division without any break. They used to have a clock here in the stadium, a clock that actually counted the time when they were in the first division. But in 2018, after 54 years, 261 days and 34 minutes in the first division of Germany, they actually lost and went down to the second division. And ever since that, they are playing more frequently in the second division against St Pauli. Before, St Pauli has only been twice in the first division, and therefore it didn't happen that often. Anyway, this is a very rare game. It is always hard to get tickets. I'm pretty sure they are completely sold out. But I am very excited to be one of the lucky ones that gets into that stadium today. There's actually something very funny. I think it is quite unique in Germany. You can see these cars here behind me, and they collect bottles in there. And that is because in Germany we have the system that certain bottles can be returned to the supermarket. Actually, when you buy them, you pay 25 cents, 8 to 25 cents extra for that one bottle. And then when you return them to the supermarkets, they will return to you that money as well. Meaning here, during these days, there are lots of people who actually collect these bottles and they earn a lot of money with it. I just asked one of them and he told me that on a day like that, they earn, by just collecting bottles, 200 to 300 euros per day, which is kind of insane. But I think it's a cool thing and, well, for them a good way to earn money, that's for sure. And also, since these two teams are huge rivals, games like that one are known to be a high risk. There are always some turmoils, there are always some fights between those two teams, and therefore there's a lot of police here currently. I think the whole police force of Hamburg is probably here close to the stadium, focused on that game right now. And, well, we are going to go inside the stadium now. The goal of today is to capture the feelings and the emotions of being here in the stadium, and also to capture everything that is going on here, because there will probably be a lot of interesting and fun things happening here, and I'm trying to capture all of this and the whole feeling of being here in the stadium. Obviously, I will not be able to show anything of the game because I do not have the image rights, so that is simply not allowed to show this here on YouTube. But anyway, I will do my best to capture all of the emotions and everything else that is going on here today. into the game and they had to stop it already because you cannot see anything because of the smoke that has been caused by St Pauli. Alright, the first halftime is over. It is 0-0, no goals yet, although there has been a goal from the HSV, but it didn't count, unfortunately. But anyway, it is still an exciting game, and there were quite a few opportunities for both teams already. For me, my impressions are that the vibe and the emotions here are simply amazing. The crowd of both teams are cherishing their teams a lot. Actually, I love the interaction between both teams. Like every time that St Pauli fans, for example, cheers their teams or they put up a banner, there's always an answer from the HSV fans. Obviously, from the HSV fans, there's always a bigger response. The crowd is louder, the banners are bigger, but that is simply because they are here in their stadium, so they're at home, which obviously is a huge advantage for them. And then also one very funny thing, I think, is the guy that is cheering up the fans of the HSV. He simply seems like he's going at war, like he's ready to go at war. He does a really good job, I think, but it's funny to watch him. We are now going to get some food. That is a must if you're in the stadium, I think, and then we will keep watching the second halftime. One thing that cannot miss in a German football stadium is the classical bratwurst, and I just got one, and it's time to have a first snack. By the way, I used to do this job there in the stadium of Dortmund and Düsseldorf, actually. I've done many jobs in my life before, and one of them was selling salchichas in the football stadiums in Düsseldorf and Dortmund. A very fun time, by the way. There actually just was a second goal from the HSV, and it has been announced by the stadium speaker, and everybody was like celebrating like crazy, getting super excited obviously. And then they checked the video and it has been annulated. It didn't count as a goal. And I don't know if you can imagine the emotions of the people. They were pissed as shit, trust me. They are not happy right now. HSV, and this time for real. It finally counts, and it's 1-0 for the HSV. Celebrating their team. The HSV won, so I was with the right team, but let me get out of here to a quieter place because it's a bit insane. We are leaving the stadium like everybody else. Actually, the HSV won the game. We were with the right team. It's 1-0 in the end. And Saluda, say hello. And people are excited and happy. It looked like a fight. It was a fight to win this game, obviously. But now people are getting their hopes up and their spirits up here that the HSV might be in the first division again in the next season. So let's keep our fingers crossed, and well, we will follow up on that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little experience here. I definitely did. For me, this was a super exciting game and an honor to be here as a Hamburger that I am, to be part of this game that is very special and epic for the whole city. So I'm super happy with that. It's time for us to go home now. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on future adventures.